hello. We are on live broadcast right now. Hello.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello, Barrister Leslie. Can you hear me?
Very well. I can hear you very well.
Okay. So we are on live broadcast right now. Okay. So we're here tonight to discuss about Edo State politics, post-election drama. ADP candidate Emmanuel Iboi takes Obaseki to election tribunal. Election tribunal, not court, because we always mistakenly call it court instead of election tribunal. So other matters arising in Edo State, distraction on a director general by Bello Premier. Hello, Barrister Leslie. Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm with you. Good morning from Nigeria.
Good evening from Canada. So I'm connecting with Barrister Leslie all the way from Abuja tonight. So, Barrister Leslie, before we start this show today, can you please introduce yourself to us a little bit, especially for the audience who are watching right now? We want to know more about you.
Yes, my name's Leslie Evotime Esquire. I am the spokesperson of Obaseki Mandate Forum.
Okay. Mandate Forum. Can you tell us your duties as the spokesperson for Obaseki's Mandate Forum? You must have a particular, go ahead, tell us.
Yes, my forum, OMF, Obaseki Mandate Forum, we secured the governorship form for the governor. We came together as a group, though indigents residing in Abuja, to get the form for the president. And we did this from our various pockets, so to speak. We showed to the entire world that we believe in his first term and we want him to come back for the second term. However, I was chosen as the speaker of this forum. So wherever we go, I speak on behalf of the entire forum as the spokesperson. So this is my role majorly.
Okay. So this forum is in Abuja, FCT.
Yes. And we have the same forum in Diaspora, headed by Dele Obaiton in the UK. We have this same forum within the 36 states of Nigeria.
Oh. Okay, in Diaspora, it's only in one state, in one country in Diaspora, no?
Yes, in the UK.
Only in the UK, yeah. Okay. So let's go into this news about ADP candidate Emmanuel taking Obaseki to the election tribunal. Many Edo citizens are outraged over the action of this young man. Few hours after the election result was announced, he came out publicly to congratulate the governor, even commend INEC for a free and fair election in Edo State. All of a sudden, he changed his mind and he's taking the governor to election tribunal to dispute the result of the election. So what is going on here? People are pointing fingers. Some are saying that Yamu and Danso Shomole are behind the action of this young man. Some people said he just buried himself politically in the state. A young man, vibrant youth like this, who's supposed to be building his political career in the state, is involving himself in trouble, big trouble. Can you tell us more about this case, what is going on in Edo State? And the governor has not responded. We have been waiting for the governor to respond to the action of this young man, but nothing yet. So what do you think motivated him?
I will use this medium to applaud the governor for applying silent therapy, so to speak, because it is needless for the governor, who is fully aware that the people of Edo State had already spoken, and that is why they had to use their conscience and their vote to make sure that there was continuity. Now, these same persons are there to react to anything that is negative, anything that will come and disrupt the development of the state. So that's why you're seeing reactions from every quarter, trying to rule out the threat, of destruction that is almost being established by a very young man who is being cajoled, who is being manipulated to do to sell his conscience for a piece of cake.
Okay. So, do you think he was motivated by some political actors in the state, or something must have motivated him?
Frankly speaking, I wouldn't want to patronize the evil underdogs because it is not going to be fanciable for me to talk about them through this platform. They do not, they cannot be seen as being mentioned, but rather the entire world already knows the people behind it. But the main thing is he is going to be used and dumped, because when the chips are down, he will realize himself, and by that time it's too late. As it stands now, he already has a dent with a report on his age. He gave INEC a different, valid, a different age. That on its own is already questionable, and it's very, very, very funny for him to have congratulated the government now, and then it's now having a U-turn. So I'm trying to imagine, I'm trying to figure out what his defense will be when he's asked, in the tribunal, oh, so why did you tell the people of Edo State to partner with the governor and then ensure that the state grows very well and then without hitches, so that the governor can have peace in the state. And then congratulated the governor and said he was going to align with him and, identify with his government. So it's so painful that, from the blues, from nowhere, he is being manipulated and, you know, uh, 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 cajoled into telling his conscience.
So, according to what I read about this case, he said the governor participated in two primaries under two political parties in the state. So, therefore, it's illegal under the constitution. Do you think the governor's action or participating in two political parties in the state is illegal under the constitution? As a lawyer that you are, what do you think? You think it's illegal?
It's one of the most simplest case, so to speak, to be able to open up and then, make the public to have an awareness about it. The thing is that Obaseki joined the APC, and through the APC, he had his first term in office. APC saw him to be qualified and to be the best bet. However, in between his journey of his first term, he had grudges. He had grudges, and he was pained on the manner in which he's been directed on how to rule the state. So at the point where he saw that the governance of the people and the true democracy itself that ought to be defined by his leadership, needed, not to be traded for anything. He decided to turn his back on such directive. Now, it now turned into a personal grievance against the persons that had brought him into first step. So what they did was calculatively they waited for him to return so that they can do that which will disrupt him from returning back, for his second term. However, they came in as the judge and the jury at the same time. And what do you expect? He was disqualified. Now, he read in between the lines and understood the politics of the politicking. And because he's a technocrat, an intellectual, he didn't want to be seen as being mocked or ridiculed by those persons that had made such mistakes before now. So he dumped the APC. He dumped, under emphasis, he dumped the APC, rejected the APC, and was admitted into the PDP, where he contested, his elections and became victorious. So it was under that platform that he contested. He did not contest uh, through two parties. He rather dumped uh, that party in the course of verification and then moved into PDP. So there is no single illegality there.
Okay. So,
Yes, it
but
was.
yeah, the governor openly announced his resignation from APC before he decamped to PDP. I'm not sure about the constitution, if this is a kind of illegal under the constitution or not, I'm not sure. But I know for sure that the governor came out publicly after he visited President Muhammadu Buhari and announced his resignation from APC before he decamped to PDP. So I don't know why he is taking the governor to election tribunal to dispute the election results based on this claim. Let's see what is going to happen. There's no date yet. The court has not fixed any date for this case. So we are still expecting the date, and the governor is expected to attend the court that day, the tribunal, the election tribunal. He must attend, whether good or bad, right? Hello?
Very well, very well,
Yeah,
very well.
yeah. He's expected to attend, yeah. No matter what, the governor will still attend the election tribunal. And then we are waiting for the dates. The dates.
Well, these are the distractions that they have planned. And the good thing and the beautiful thing is that they are going to fail woefully. Is dead on arrival. There is nothing they can, do about it. The entire world, the global world itself, had congratulated Colin Obaseki. And the reason for these congratulatory messages is because they saw with their two eyes that the election held in Edo State September 19th was the most freest and fairest election ever.
No, he didn't. But he's not disputing the fact that the election was not free and fair.
I am coming to that. 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 They saw that the elections were indeed free and fair. And you see, like I said, Obaseki is a man that is highly intellectual. He is a man that understands what it means to read between the lines. He
Yeah,
understands the plan of those persons that want to bring him down. There is nothing that will make Obaseki to have gone through this journey, this rigorous journey, knowing fully well that it will amount to nothing, and then still engaging himself in this kind of journey. But because he is completely complete, and every gap is closed, that is the reason why he is very confident that the remaining 4 years will be will be governed by his leadership. So Every other thing that is coming into play now is just more like taking a knife to a gun battle. Whoever is engaging or whoever is trying to distract the peace and the development of the state is only doing this at his own or her own peril. Nothing will come out of it dead on arrival.
Okay. So let's see what is going to happen. We are still waiting for the uh, election tribunal to set a date for this case. At least the governor is still expected to attend. This is a kind of a distraction. The one they did before the election was obvious and they still continue. So let's move on with to this discussion, the distraction on a Director General by Bello Premier. Who is this Bello Premier? I've never heard that name before in Edo State. Who is the Bello Premier?
Yeah, Bello Premier is one of the coordinators of Obaseki Project 2020.
Okay.
Obaseki Project 2020 is one of the platforms, like my platform, the Obaseki Mandate Forum, that put themselves together to to fight very hard to ensure that our votes count. He is the coordinator of that platform,
Okay. So is
Obaseki
the
Project 2020.
okay projection for the election? It was for the election, right?
Yeah,
Only for the election.
well, it depends on their own plan, because like the Obaseki Mandate Forum,
Mm,
it's not it doesn't end in Edo election. It
okay.
goes
Yeah.
beyond that.
Okay. That one was already existing before the election, the mandate forum, right?
No, 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 no.
Mm,
Now for the election,
mm,
it it was Obaseki Mandate Forum, but our forum in itself
mm.
is going to continue because we now have a new name, the mandate. So
Okay.
we will continue from there.
Okay. Okay. So tell us more about this Bello Premier.
Bello Premier is being seen as one of the elements, like Iboi Emmanuel, who is being used to
Mm,
ridicule the person of the DG of the Edo House by writing a letter, a very derogatory letter, to SSG of the state. And then that same letter, he copied the PDP chairman and all the PDP senators. State is very, very painful that at this point, when we are still basking in the euphoria of the victory of God in Obaseki, we are seeing letters flying from one point to the other. And what is this? What is the purpose of this letter? He's saying that the DG is malicious, he, he is bad blooded, that the DG says he will undo and deal with him, says that the DG is a nice service person. He said the DG is bluffing. These were words he used in the letter he wrote. And apart from this particular word
mm,
used, he has used some other kinds of derogatory comments that are recorded by virtue of the facts we are able to see. And it's so bad because the DG is really not finding it funny, you know, having understood the reality on ground, knowing fully well that this Premier Bello got himself caught up with a criminal act that is very, very unfavorable, to associating with the likes of the DG. And then if the DG says he does not want to associate with that kind of person, I think it would have been better for him to look for a medium, to try to reconcile by maybe repenting from the rather criminal act that he exhibited on the 18th of September 2020, the eve of the election, where monies were allocated to him as a coordinator to send some of the Edo indigene to Edo State so that they can vote. And then at the end of it all, there was an intention to frustrate the effort of those traveling, so that he could embezzle the monies that were in his possession.
Mm.
Having found out that this was what he was made of, the DG decided to keep to himself and apply silent therapy by not picking his calls and every other thing that would have made him to want to relate with him. So, and then he just took to the media, he took uh, to his pen and paper, writing very, very derogatory and deforming letters.
Mm. The derogatory letters was written and published in newspapers or just a WhatsApp exchange of messages.
You know the good thing about anything that has to do
Mm.
with documents, whatever
Mm.
is whatever is read and written is indeed a
Mm.
letter. So if it comes through WhatsApp or comes through
Mm.
a local newspaper, I think that the essence for such letter is
Mm.
to achieve a particular aim that you have within your sleeves, and for his own he's a DG who we had not been able to assess, to now see this letter through the public in
Mm.
whatsoever means, either through the local newspaper or the WhatsApp and all that. So I think I can understand what it means for the DG to start reading such lines, from the public.
So if no, I still don't get. I can't get it here. So he published the comments on a newspaper, or he just sent it through WhatsApp. It's very common that people insult themselves through WhatsApp messages, exchanging words, through WhatsApp. Is it through WhatsApp, or he published it publicly on social
No,
media or any newspaper?
no, no. What we saw was a soft copy of WhatsApp. But obviously,
Mm,
he did not write the SSG
mm,
through that medium. So it is obvious that he had written a formal letter,
mm.
to these persons that were named therein. So we were able
Okay.
to get that understanding because we know what it entails.
Oh, okay. So how much he embezzled the Bello premium? The money that was supposed to be used to transfer people from Abuja to Edo State for the election, and he didn't provide all the money, and he didn't provide the transportation for the people, right? So how much is the money? Is there any
Uh,
figure?
yeah, the thing is, these monies that were given to the coordinators were
Mm,
actually not disclosed. They were not
okay.
disclosed. But there is
Mm,
a fact finding
mm,
that confirms that the money given to him was not properly disbursed because
mm.
70% of the people that were supposed to have gone to the state to vote their conscience returned back to their various residences because it was rather getting too late for them to embark on such journey. So those monies were not,
Okay. It
were not
didn't.
returned. Were not
It did.
returned back. Were not returned back.
Okay. He didn't provide transportation for them to Edo State, so the money was not refunded. Right.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, okay. So is there any action against him now? Are you guys trying to prosecute him or sue
Well,
him?
as it stands now, sleeping dogs were already lying before he decided to put up the write-up,
Mm,
which he did. And a very senior legal team is already looking into it.
mm,
And by virtue of the directive that came in between, he is advised to retract that letter and then go to at least one local newspaper and then apologize through that platform to the DG and to the Edo Association of the Edo Indigenes residing in Abuja and every
mm,
other channel he used to write that derogatory letter to tender his apology. And this is going to be within 3 working
mm,
days, you know.
mm. Okay. So I hope you guys get the justice that you deserve. So what is going on in Edo State right now regarding the 14 members of House of Assembly? And according to what people are saying, that they are not eligible to run for the House of Assembly anymore because of the illegal inauguration they conducted prior to the Edo State election. So,
Yeah, yeah, I
what's
will help you out. I will help you out.
yeah,
It is not the people that are saying that they are not eligible. The Constitution says so. You
yeah,
know, what the
constitution,
Constitution says, what the Constitution says, if you are absent, if you are absent, you are not on seat for 180 days, then your seat must be declared vacant, and that is what uh, disabled them from, you know, being seen as members of the House of Assembly.
okay. So, the first term is over. I don't understand how they run this House of Assembly. So the second term, they are not still eligible to run for the House of Assembly. Is it because the court is still pending in court? Because I know that they took the case to court by themselves and they didn't wait for the decision of the court before they conducted that illegal inauguration before the election. So right now, what is the fate of the 14 members elect? Former members of House of Assembly, I would say, because they are not elected anymore, because their tenure is over. They are planning to run for another election right now. So what will be their fate now? You mean that they lose their jobs like
Well,
that?
well, well. They just have missed it. It's one experience that will never ever be forgotten. In this nation's politics. However, if anything needs to happen, there must be a reference. There must be a situation. And for this, a lot of every other House of Assembly members in various states would have understood what it means, to stand for the people. The people are more important than, the evil underdog who have no interest of the people at heart. So those persons that brought you into that position of being a member representing them are the persons you should consider first. You should be able to look into the eyes of the evil underdog and tell them that no, you were sent here to represent your own people. And because you were sent by your people, you will not trade anything for anything. So by my understanding, I think and I do believe that they have lost it already.
Okay. In Nigeria, according to my understanding, politicians in the country, many politicians, they don't obey the rule of law and the constitution. So when they were acting out, playing the role or the godfather that deceived them to come to Abuja, maybe he was sheltering them in Abuja and all that. at the end of the day, they ignore the role of the constitution and rule of law. Now that the law is coming back to haunt them, they are looking for someone to blame. And in most cases, as you all know, they are blaming the governor for not doing this. The other day, Tinubu was also blaming Governor Obaseki for denying the inauguration of 14 members of House of Assembly. He said that in his speech prior to the Edo State election, when he was advising Edo citizens to reject Obaseki for not participating for not participating in a democracy, be fighting for democracy in Nigeria. That's what he said. That's what he said before the election of Edo State. So he mentioned that Obaseki refused the 14 members of House of Assembly from the first inauguration that was conducted last year, 2019. Hello, Barrister Leslie, can you hear me?
I can hear you very well.
So that's what Tinubu said. I even have the video here. I can even play it. The Obaseki refused their inauguration.
Well, I really don't get your question because you've not really asked me.
Okay, what I'm trying to say here that Tinubu said that Obaseki refused their inauguration. Is that true? That's what he said.
I wouldn't want to patronize Tinubu at this point because Tinubu is one of those persons referred to, so to speak, as the godfathers. We're in the era of eradicating godfatherism. Whatever Tinubu said is not an authority. It's not a matter of concern. It's not a matter that should be discussed. Because these persons are already labeled and tagged to be people that do not appreciate the goodwill of the populace. They are not concerned about the development, about the interest of the growth of their state. So if he said so, it's fine because those are his antecedents. If he said so, it's not a problem, but it cannot be reality. Whatever he says cannot be decisive. Whatever he says cannot be directive. Whatever he says cannot be pure. So if he says and it doesn't work out, if he says and it's not done like that, then I think we're fine. So we should not buttress on that his aspersions.
Yeah. What will I say? Tinubu, someone who is running for the presidency in 2023, you are telling us now to just ignore whatever he said about the 14 members of House of Assembly, that we should not treat his comments seriously. This is a man who is currently planning to run for the presidency 2023. Many people are treating.
What I expect you to understand, maybe I just have to come. Maybe I just have to come very straight. Maybe I just have to come very straight.
I understand you.
Let me help you. Let me help you.
Yeah.
If you are talking about a custodian of the law, somebody who has been trained and understands the tenets and understands the principles and authority of the law, then I can understand that you are making a lot of sense. But you are talking about somebody who is a non-lawyer, somebody who cannot clearly interpret the law, and you want me to accept his submission as an authority? No. That should be a very huge joke. If Tinubu aspires to be the president of Nigeria come 2023, and then I aspire to be the president of Nigeria come 2023, what difference would that be? We all have the fundamental human right to aspire to become the president of Nigeria, a dear nation, a country that is expected to be guided by true leaders. And that's the
So,
reason why, that is the reason why I find it very difficult to applaud anyone that is coming to become the president of Nigeria that has no good track records. I don't want to identify with such people.
yeah,
As I am, I am sitting, as I am sitting here and talking to you, I have a very serious vision of ensuring that I come out in the year 2023 to become the president of Nigeria.
okay. You know why I said that? Someone who is currently planning to run for the presidency, and you are telling us now that he cannot clearly interpret the rule of law into the actions of the 14 members of House of Assembly, just shows that, like what I said earlier again, I'm going back, that Nigerian politicians don't obey the rule of law. Not that Tinubu don't know that these 14 members of House of Assembly violated the constitution, but he was just acting as if there's nothing wrong here. It's a normal thing. Like Mr. Daniel always said on this show that in Nigeria we are still maturing in terms of democracy. It's like democracy is maturing in Nigeria. That in most cases politicians will violate the rule of law and the constitution, and the only thing they could do is to waive the law. They call them political waivers. That in most cases they waive the crime for the politicians while they will allow them to strive. The same thing that Tinubu just did when he said that Governor Obaseki refused the 14 members of House of Assembly from inauguration in 2019. Not that he don't know that these people violated the rule of law. He knows that. He knows that. Just because Nigeria, these politicians have turned the country into a lawless country. That is why they don't obey the rule of law. They don't interpret the law into their actions, and they are not guided by the rule of law. In most cases, they operate with their illegality in the country. You understand what I'm
Anything,
trying to say here?
let me help you.
Mm.
Everything that has a beginning must have an end. Are you aware of that?
Yeah, but I'm just saying that's the reality of things,
Hello,
because
hello,
people they don't
will
practicalize
you,
the rule of law in the
will you
country.
allow me? Will you allow me to talk, madam?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Everything that has a beginning must have an end. Edo State is a very huge reference to this submission. Let me quickly tell you,
Mm.
whatever you think is happening in Nigeria today will fade out within the space of the 2 years left. The formula and the medium to which Nigeria will have a blueprint that will take Nigeria above America, Russia, and the UK is being seen by the young intellects that have gathered themselves together to identify and understand what Nigeria truly needs. And it's being measured by ensuring that in Edo State there is a test run to that effect. It has been succeeded by that formula to see that what we really truly need in Nigeria is to eradicate godfatherism. If these men understand what it means to raise young men and try as much as possible to support them to get into governance, then they will retire honorably, either by death or by long life. If they understand that what they have gotten in their lives is enough, the houses, the cars, the fame, the name, and all that, if they understand what it means
Mm.
to be contented, then they will draw a line and pull back themselves and retire honorably. And that is the reason why it is of importance for me to tell you this day on that record that the time frame for these atrocities to linger is just 2.5 years. Nigeria is going to be redeemed by the leaders that are true and the leaders that understand the pain of the people. There is going to be a blueprint by our likes to ensure that Nigeria gets beyond the Rubicon and get to the promised land. So if you keep talking about these people, what you will be doing, what you succeed in doing is to remove the focus and the most important things that needs to be discussed and addressed, that the entire world must know and should know, rather than buttressing on less important and trivial issues. It is not important to discuss them at all.
It's not important, but they are the ones
I do not intend to
running the
patronize.
country. Yeah, I understand that. We have to discuss it. We have to discuss the dirtiness of.
They are not running the country, and they cannot run the country. The reason why I said they are not running the country is that we are beginning to see the kind of things that we long to see. For example, River State. What has happened in River State is a clear sign that Nigeria is going to be redeemed. And that is why I'm trying to take them one after the other, for you to understand that it will go round, and it will surely go round. We are going to cleanse the nation itself. Nigeria was not matured enough to be independent, and we are not supposed to be the ones suffering that mistake that was made by this country. That's the reason why we have decided to collectively sit down to try to check properly and then go to the drawing board to see where we got it wrong. And we now know that we have to nip it by the bud. We now know that Nigeria was not matured enough. So we are going to close those gaps. We will. Watch out for.
What I'm trying to say here, Barrister Leslie, I understand you that democracy is maturing in Nigeria with what just happened in Edo State, the election. So, yeah, we know that democracy is maturing in Nigeria now. Gone are those days whereby politicians can rig elections in favor of whoever who is like the survivor of the fittest. But right now, democracy is maturing. What I was trying to say earlier is that it is good sometimes to point out the dirtiness of Nigerian politics. We can't be quiet here pretending as if we are moving forward. But these are the people who are ruling the country right now. So whatever they are doing, the illegality in the system, we are here to point things out, because I live in the West. I'm not in Nigeria. I'm not in Nigeria. So I have to use the experience, my experience here in diaspora in Canada. Okay, I apply it to Nigeria, and the politics in Nigeria, because we all want the development of Nigeria. That is why you see that majority of us in the diaspora are applying our experience here, democracy in the West, to that of Nigeria. Okay, and also pointing out gaps in the system. What is going on in Nigeria is that politicians in the country are not practicalizing the rule of law. The law is there. The law is there, but they are not practicalizing it. Let's just call a spade a spade. Mr. Daniel always argue with me on this show that I should forget about the rule of law in Nigeria, that the politicians, when you look at the system, you barely see anyone who is not guilty of the law. That is why he came out with one vocabulary that I should not be calling Nigeria a lawless country anymore, that they are political waivers, that when people commit sin in the system, they waive the law law, they waive it for them. So because it's like everybody is guilty of the law, who's going to prosecute this? That's what is going on. If we go deep into the Nigerian politics, not what people, sometimes people will say, no man, they are corrupt, this. But let's go deep into the reality of things in Nigeria right now. Forget about the rule of law. The practice, how these politicians are practicalizing the rule of law in Nigeria. Let's go deep into it right now. If really all of them are not guilty of the law in the country, from the president to the governors to the members of House of Assembly, they are all guilty of the rule of law. Let's be honest.
Well, at this point, I think what you want to hear
Mm.
is that the politicians are in charge.
They are in charge
I
and they are not obeying the rule of law. That's what I'm
you
saying.
and I will never agree with you.
Okay.
From now to December this year, you
Mm.
and I will drag this to the end. The reason is that you are abroad. You are not in Nigeria.
Mm.
In Akwa Ibom, Akpabio came with his federal mind, and he came with everything that would have bamboozled, you know, the governor. But at the end of the day, the people stood, and Akpabio was replaced. Now, I would start counting so that you start having good impression about Nigeria. The issue of the rule of law that you are talking about
Mm.
is the global affair. Not all rule of law is uh, is uh, is is obeyed in the entire global world.
Yes.
There are
Yeah.
so many instances. So so in the case of Nigeria, Nigeria is growing very fast. I think I am the only person saying this. How old was America before they got to where they are? They were very old. We are just 60.
Oh, yes. I said
And,
that earlier.
and at the level that at this point that we are now, we are already seeing the reality of a new Nigeria. I have so much hope for this country. It is not going to waste in my time. The ones that are there, our leaders that are there, will talk to themselves by our actions, and they will retire back
So,
and keep the space for us.
for us, yeah.
We are not going to be intelligent for nothing. We are not going to be tutored and schooled for nothing. Everything we have learned is what we are going to put in place. And by virtue of what we have in us, Nigeria will be reclaimed by us. Because I remember the national anthem very well. And it is one of the oaths of office. And because I understand what oath implies, it will not be ruled out that we will be the ones to take charge. And when we take charge,
Yes.
Nigeria will be very, very safe because we understand what has happened to this country and we will not want to return back to it. However, what I am trying to tell you is that these politicians that have failed and are failing understand that the people are already rejecting them. And that is the reason why when you say somebody like Tinubu is dictating the pace and they're in charge, I refuted and I refused. Just yesterday, a Lagos High Court had summoned him to come and explain how he embezzled a particular amount of money from years ago. I know you are not aware of this, but
I'm
this is the
aware.
news that is.
Yeah.
And this is
It's expected
so
to
how
appear in court in 42 days.
so how can you say they are ruling? The word ruling means dominance. Nobody will trespass. Nobody steps on your toes. Nobody's gonna.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. You know, so that is what it means when you say ruling, you know. And then ruling in what sense? What is your portfolio? They are no
Yeah.
longer, they are no, let me talk. They are no longer given the opportunity and they no longer have that authority that they had 4 months ago. They are being ripped of that rank and file. So gradually, gradually, you see these things are going off their hands.
Okay.
You know, it's going off their hands, and that is how it will be.
Thank you, Barrister Leslie. Next time we'll continue with this discussion. Maybe next week we'll continue with this debate about Nigerian politics and the rule of law in the country. Okay. So, and then I will be applying a little bit of the Western democracy because we want Nigeria to develop. So, we're going to be applying Western democracy to that of Nigeria and see the gaps in the system. An election, like what I said in some of my previous shows, that the free and fair elections in Nigeria will be the beginning of democracy. We just started in Edo State. I hope other states will replicate. Then from there, we can be, I think, through free and fair elections in the country, it will also help to manage corruption because politicians will be aware of the fact that without them performing and developing their various states, chances are the masses are going to vote them out of office. They might not be able to run for 8 years like they normally do, just because of this new idea of democracy in the country. So let's take it next time. Let's discuss about it. Right now, I have something to do. We have to end this show. Then next week, hello, Barrister Leslie. Next week, we'll continue with this discussion. All right, guys, if you are watching right now, I'll bring Barrister Leslie to the show next week. Hello, Barrister Leslie. Network is terrible. Anyway, see you guys.